You're now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
This is a new mic, so
Oh,
what is
God.
going on, everybody? Hope you are doing so good. Welcome to the Sportz Nutz. This is Matt, Shane, dude. This is episode number 83. We are literally like 17 away from 100. Oh man, this is exciting. So how is everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing good. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a very fun show lined up. Indeed, we have the voice, the play-by-play of the AAA Boston Red Sox, the Worcester Red Sox. He is joining us tonight. We are blessed to talk some guys. I can't tell you how excited to say this. Baseball, like literally, when opening day will get here, it's going to feel like the planets have aligned. The world is all good and clear because baseball is back. This gentleman right here, I haven't seen in, gosh, a little bit there. You know, obviously him and I, we talk all the time. But Matt, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Episode number what? What was this? Episode number 81?
83.
83, man. It's about time for us to get checked into a nursing home, man. It's just, whew.
Wait. Who's got their walker ready? Is it you, Shane, or is it you, Matt, that has the walker?
I don't know. It's just,
oh my goodness, Matt! It's so good to see you. Hey, this gentleman right here, Mr. Shane Owen. How you been doing, brother? Hey, would you please share everybody the good news that you told us last week?
Oh yeah, man. We've been doing good. Just kind of been weighing my options here lately, and fortunately was gained a job opportunity with the Greenleaf Corporation out of Flat Rock, North Carolina. So I'll be starting there here in a couple weeks. So scenery might change, face probably might change too, but I'll still be here either way. So yeah, looking forward to that journey. Sounds like it's gonna be a fun deal. Other than that, man, just been kind of plugging away at it, man.
Absolutely. Hey, look, our fourth member, Hank, is not here. So for those who don't know, Hank had an unfortunate event happen. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because that's his own business. If he wants to share, he will. But he is actually he is moving into a new I guess you call it pad for him. And he is currently building his studio up, and he's also building, like, just getting everything like finalized for him. So he should be with us on Friday. Look, Friday we have a fantastic episode. We actually have a NFL Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl champion with the Washington Redskins, and Ring of Honor for the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Gerald Riggs Sr. will be joining us. He's only going to be on there for 20 minutes, y'all. So please make sure to tune in. We're really excited about that. I'm really close to seeing if I can get Chase, Cody, Phillip, and the two other, Robert, and there's another guy that have this with the Dirty Fanatics to come on. Because it's, obviously they're a Falcons podcast, and having a Falcons legend coming out will be pretty exciting. So I wanted to also, guys, let you know, I did reach out to Pace Academy in Atlanta. Matt, you know why we're trying to get Pace Academy. Matt, would you please share with the news as to why I'm been in contact with Pace Academy?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. For those who are Falcon fans, and some people who aren't, Sean Witherspoon, who was a linebacker for the Falcons, man, during their heyday, he's the new head coach.
Yep, he is the new head football coach. I do now. I told Cassie last night I should frame it because I have Sean Witherspoon's personal email. I was really excited to hear that. And then I did reach out to Matt Ryan's camp, and guys, I heard back. I had to go through a line of chain of command basically to get a hold of him. So I have to also communicate through CBS just to make sure that it is okay that he does not have any like NDSs in his contract, which is a non-disclosure. So some people they can't be a part of other things. It's just how they have it laid out. But I've been in communication with the director of communications with both Pace Academy as well as with CBS and Matt Ryan's camp. So we should hear something soon. Hopefully we get Matt Ryan to come on. Really excited about the possibilities, guys. We are ever being pursuant and popular for the spring going into the summertime, because we have a lot of great opportunities for sports coming on. And guys, like tonight is an example. We have, here in Greenville, Shane knows this very well. There is a single high A affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, the Greenville Drive. And I was actually talking to our guest before we came on, and because for people who don't know, Floor Field, which is where the Greenville Drive play, they mirror the exact dimensions of Fenway Park. So I asked, does the Worcester Red Sox have it? He said no. It's actually kind of reversed a little bit. I'll let him go more in detail. It's pretty cool to learn about that. But guys, we are so excited to have each and every one of you. I know that you guys are still sharing and saying, hey, the Sportz Nutz are on. So go ahead, share with Twitter, with Instagram, with Facebook, nuttysportstalk.com, YouTube, everything. We have it covered, every angle for you. Now, before we go any further, we're going to go ahead and run our ad for Tequila's Grill. Now, look, if you see the ad tonight and you want to go have a good, feel-good Mexican restaurant, it's the most authentic, delicious, and affordable Mexican cuisine there is, let them know you saw the ad on the Sportz Nutz, and you would get 10% off any dinner plate. And guys, I can tell you that's actually a really good deal. So here is the ad, and then we will get going.
Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Buy one, get one 50% off drinks.
Tequila's Grill Mexican restaurant has homemade salsa bars. They have the most authentic, most delicious, and most affordable Mexican cuisine in town.
And conveniently, in the as you guys saw on the, well, I don't know if you didn't see, but on the bottom part, Shane takes a quick little swig of his libation when they're talking about the happy hour. And this guy over here is just leaning a little bit, doing the grub eat. So, yes, like I said, mention that you saw their ad on our show, The Sportz Nutz, and you will get 10% off of any dinner plate. Really good deal. Hey, real quick, Hank, I can still listen to my favorite show while I work. That's right, Hank. We missed you, brother. Can't wait to see you coming on soon. Like I said, Gerald Riggs will be here on Friday. Hank, he said he will most likely be there to watch. And guys, I promise you, it's going to be a really good show tonight. Really good show on Friday. Just really good show in general. We get to sit here and talk an hour with you guys for sports. Without further ado, let's bring our guest in. Mike, how are we doing, brother?
Good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Let's dive into it. The most amazing and fun, and just like I said, when opening day is here, it's like the heavens part, the planets align, and the world is just right.
Yep.
How good is it? I saw you made a post. You're coming into your 29th year with broadcasting. Do you still get first day jitters every opening day?
Not well. After like one or two innings, it's like you never left. Probably just more nervous excitement because it's a big production, especially where we are. The Red Sox have a lot to do with our team. There are a lot of the people that run it are former Red Sox owners. So our opening day has got so many things going on, so many dignitaries, so many people from the city. The first year of the franchise, we had David Ortiz there, Pedro Martinez, was Bob Cousy, who's from Worcester, famous Celtics player. So it's pretty crazy, like that first day, and you forget there's a game going on. But once you get into the game, it's pretty good. I'm very lucky to work with 3 to 4 people every year that I've known for a while, and we're all really good friends. So it makes it really easy to work with them, and we have a good time. I mean, it's. To a guy that does games with me, we were fortunate to fill in when UMass played at Georgia this year. So I got to experience what football's like there. And that's similar to what baseball is like here in the Northeast.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, Matt, so like I said, Matt lives in north towards Norcross area. He's a Georgia Tech fan, huge Georgia Tech fan. Shane is a big Virginia Tech guy. I'm a University of Hawaii guy, so yeah, completely different ends of the spectrum there. Well, we have friends who are University of Georgia fans. Matt and I have a mutual friend. His name is Brian. He is a diehard UGA fan, and it really is. It's a different experience. Like certain areas are different experiences. I remember a few years back when Hawaii took on the Minutemen, University of Massachusetts,
Yeah.
in a football game, and I believe it was a bowl game, and it was pretty neat experience. Like, I mean, think about it. They're coming from a frigid environment, and they're going all the way to paradise to play in the Hawaii Bowl. That's a pretty cool experience for them. And obviously, this year was not a big year, unfortunate good year for University of Massachusetts, but the future is bright. We have a couple of friends who are affiliated with them, and we're excited for them. So, obviously this season, it's literally it's coming at a rapid pace. Thank goodness for that. Like I said, everything just feels right when baseball gets going. I was introduced to the game of baseball in 1989, thanks to my sister Jessica, who I give a huge shout out to. She introduced me to all sports, basically. She said, let's go to Fulton County Stadium and watch a Braves game. I was like, okay, let's go do it. So went there, fell in love with the team instantly. And, I have a little bit of an infinity love for Boston, because Boston used to be the Boston Braves.
Yeah.
And so, obviously I have a natural love for it. Well, Matt and mine's mutual friend Brian actually has had the privilege of going to Fenway Park, and he said it's an experience unlike any other. So I want to ask you, is it true? Like, there, when you go, it's almost like, I guess you could kind of say it's like it's a divine intervention when you go into Fenway Park. Is that what it's like? Because I've never gotten the privilege to go there. I want to, but what is it like to go to like a Boston Red Sox game?
I mean, it's emotional, I think. Because you relate a lot of, I think, sports to childhood. That's what I kind of do. So it reminds me instantly of being a kid and doing I'm fortunate to still have my dad, and that's what he grew up taking me to so many games. So I instantly will always have that connection, and that's what it still reminds me of. You can go back in time. It's, Maine, which is close to here, is very similar. Things in the Northeast don't change a lot. So, for instance, when I go up to the beaches in Maine, to a spot we grew up as kids, nothing has changed. And I'm talking about the structures. Everything looks like it did when I was 13. When you walk up the ramp at Fenway, it is that same feeling as being a kid. And when you see the wall, your heart sinks. Everybody does. It's incredible. I felt like that when I went to Wrigley Field too, because it was built the same year and they have the same ramps as Fenway. And I was also very fortunate to work sidelines for UMass when they played at Notre Dame, and I got to be on the field for that. And that was a very emotional, because it's a cathedral. I mean, those places are incredible. It's also cool to see people who've never been and see their expressions. That to me is, I love bringing people to games that have never been. I took my dad to a playoff game he had never ever been, because I was fortunate for the team. I worked in Portland for 15 years, a AA affiliate, and they got us tickets for playoffs and World Series. So, which were on the house, it's pretty generous. So I got to take people to games. It's, it's like a college football environment. Everybody there has got jerseys. I think anyone would have fun. I think Yankee fans that go there, they understand why it's so cool. It's just an environment,
love the Red Sox, that.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to duplicate. That place has been there for over 100 years, and they've built that, in quotations, business, because it is still a business, but it's amazing that it still works.
What got you into the world of broadcasting? I mean, so what got me into broadcasting, I was actually in 8th grade, and I remember doing a production like back then. We had the old VHS tape recorders and everything, and I said this was something I wanted to do. I absolutely loved doing it, and I told my mom that night. I said, "Mom, I'm going to be on the TV or I'm going to be on radio. One of the two. I know I'm going to be there." Yeah. And she said, "Okay." And lo and behold, here I am years later, and I actually had the privilege of doing it. I love it. It's so much fun. But what got you into the world of broadcasting?
Yeah, that's good question. I mean, I've gotten that a few times, right? I mean, I got hooked instantly. I mean, I'm probably the one that would have the walker between the four of us. I think I'm older than all and everybody, which is fine. I don't mind. My dad got me into the game instantly. Never forced it. He showed me Carl Yastrzemski on TV. He was called Captain Carl But I thought it was. Yeah, I think at first I thought they were like superheroes. I didn't, I was probably 6 or 7, but as soon as I went to Fenway, I mean, I was hooked, and I always knew I wanted to be in baseball. I knew I wasn't good enough to play. But I would always kind of I played like Stratomatic a lot, and I played games, and I would always mock announce them. But I did go to school at a time where you weren't really encouraged to do anything fun. Like it was about, being a doctor or a lawyer. It wasn't about being a performer. It just, I graduated high school in 91. Like even in that, now it's great. Like kids have TV stations in high school, but, so it's kind of a weird story. My junior year, I was friends with all seniors. I don't know how it happens. And when I was a senior, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And one of my friends, he's like, just come look at this school. And when I went and I saw the radio station, I'm like, I can do that. And I did it. I went there and I had success because I kind of had been practicing all my life, doing mock broadcasts and sport. So it came fairly, I don't want to say easy. It came natural. I certainly had to work at it. I mean, no doubt. And it just kind of like, that's how everything just kind of steamrolled. I went to this school for 2 years. Went to another school for 2 years, got an internship at a small station. I was doing Legion baseball. Then I got into pro ball. It just kind of steamrolled, but I had no idea really where my life was going my last year of high school. And just taking a friend up on a visit to his junior college changed my life. It's crazy. I never thought I'd have one of those stories, but, I commend myself for not saying, no, I don't want to look at it. Cause there was something about going to a junior college, like you weren't smart enough to get into a 4-year school, but
Boy,
this was
true.
this school was incredible it was a full formatted radio station. I was a sports director my second year. I still go there today and help mentor. The school's now 4 years, but it just took one little, avenue that got me into it. But of course, my passion for baseball, and any of this stuff, if you don't love it to death, you really have no chance of doing it.
Absolutely. I did my internship. Matt knows this very well, is Comcast Sports Southeast. There was a show that they had called Sportz Night. And I vividly remember doing it. So we have an actual mutual friend here. His name is Nick Shalini. He's with 680 The Fan. Him and Chris Tamino and Matt Chernoff. I interned underneath them, and Matt has seen. I still have the notes. They're literally, it's like a pad this thick. Things what to do and what not to do in broadcasting. And I told Nick about it, and it's so cool to you learn every time you go on to do the air and you do things. It's like it's a whole new ballpark for you. You learn more and more, like what ways I can be better at this, what way I can do that. It's so neat. And you're right, when you have those particular stories, you're like they sit with you forever. So Shane here actually played baseball. Shane, go ahead and obviously ask your question, then give a little detail about your baseball career.
Oh yeah, well, you say Captain Carl, I call him Captain Yaz.
Yeah.
And love to see his grandson out there, with the Giants and how well he's done. As past, I was a catcher, that was kind of my main position. So, he's one of the ones you look up to. If you ever play that position. So, your love for the sport and that guy's probably just as well as mine. But great to hear your broadcasting journey and stuff. And, I played ball, unlike you, instead of, I wanted to go JUCO, but, kind of family said, hey, we got 4-year scholarships on the line. Let's go that route. So, kind of understand that mentality, about the JUCO and, going to a university college of 4 years, kind of getting that bachelor's, kind of that struggle, kind of going between the two. But man, what I want to know is, man, how much are you looking forward to this season? I know Boston's got a lot of prospects coming up. Marcelo is probably going to be a great star for you guys there in Worcester. Just kind of what is kind of y'all's outlook as a AAA affiliate kind of looking like, and hey, maybe even end up with Devers there opening day, the way his health has been.
Yeah, and maybe Brian Bayo. I think the Red Sox, between the two GMs, I know that like Chaim Bloom still can be a sore subject for people here, but I really think he did a heck of a job. The Red Sox needed to build a foundation. They kept going from GM to GM, which you can't do in baseball. He kept switching it up. So I think between what Chaim and Craig Breslow have done has really built a solid foundation, and we have a chance at our place to have 4 40-man roster starting pitchers with Priester, Criswell, depending on injuries like Richard Fitz. But the pitching depth now, they brought in a lot of older guys. So when they make a lot of moves like that at the big league level, like, we reap the benefits. Like if Anthony, Campbell, and Meyer, and then 4 starters from the 40, most AAA teams don't have 4 starting pitchers that are 40-man guys. They might have 2. We could have 4. And in the minor leagues, when you have good pitching, you can win a lot of games, because there's not, the separation of pitching from the big leagues to just AAA is still huge. We might go 2 months and not see a starting pitcher that will be a starter in the big leagues, and we have 4 of them. So I think the outlook is really, really good. I was just telling someone this. One good thing with our business is that wins and losses don't matter. Fans come regardless. That's a good thing. The Red Sox are kind of going through that now because they get so many visiting fans that come that want to see the ballpark. So our attendance is unbelievable. I think we were tops in AAA last year, but we, some minor league cities, it's not about the players, but we have the blend of both, where when all those young guys came up last year, we sold out right away. When Meyer, Teal, and Anthony all came up together, I mean, it was crazy. And that's what I like. The fans, they love the game. And, now here, New England gets very extreme. They hated prospects. Now it's the opposite, where they want them all up there now. Like, they want Anthony, no matter if the guy's played, 10 games in AAA, they want him up there. So it's funny how they are, but it's cool because I get to see a lot of guys before people know who they are. And I'll tell people, like, you should look out for this Mookie guy or Xander Bogaerts. I'll be like, prospects. And I'm like, okay, just wait,
Matt, you have a question. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike. First of all, man, thanks for hopping on with us, man. Can you let us know, or maybe do you know what's going on with Von Grissom, and if he's going to start low or be on the opening day roster?
Yeah, so what happened last year was a combination of injury, and then a bunch of guys got sick, and he was one of them. So in the middle of his injury, he was so sick. For 2 weeks, he got shut down. He lost a ton of weight. And I think when he finally came back, a lot of us didn't think he played enough on rehab. And I think the combination of, oh my God, I was traded for Chris Sale. They brought me in here to be the second baseman. And I just think when he went up there, it just was spinning too fast for him. I really like him. I really think he is. He can hit. We actually saw that during the pandemic at Fenway. He had a pretty good year. But it's interesting. So, the change of the guard between Chaim Bloom and Craig Breslow, the Red Sox actually had a ton of middle infielders before they made that trade for Von Grissom. And I don't think the new regime that came in thought any of those guys were worth anything. David Hamilton was one of those guys who certainly could have probably played second base last year. Nick Sogard was another. They had a lot of guys, but I think they like Grissom in the way he hits. It will be interesting to see what happens. I think that, it's his job to win. I think Christian Campbell barely scratched the surface of the higher levels last year. And I know, a lot of people have talked about him winning the job. I think it's a possibility, but I think Grissom's the guy that they want to, have win the job first, and then we'll see what happens. They have so many middle infielders. It is crazy. Like we were talking last year, they're going to have to trade some of these guys, and they did. They traded Chase Mydroth in the Crochet deal, and it'll be interesting to see. But if he doesn't make the Red Sox, he'll probably play second base every day for us. I don't think they'll move him off that position.
You just mentioned the trade with Chris Sale. I do also, I really had hoped and prayed, and I guarantee you, almost every Atlanta fan was the same way. We had hoped that Garrett Crochet had been blessed. We had been blessed to get Garrett Crochet be an Atlanta Brave, but unfortunately, it didn't come out to fruition. But obviously, Chris Sale had a remarkable career in Boston. 19, he wins the World Series. And then the injury bug it came, and it continuously kept affecting him. He gets moved. He comes to Atlanta, has a Cy Young season, phenomenal turnaround, one of the best turnarounds for almost any pitcher with his ability. Obviously, I know that a lot of Red Sox fans, we have a lot of friends who sat there and said, you guys are getting an injury-prone player. And then all of a sudden they've reversed roles, and they said, gosh, I wish we had kept Chris Sale. What does that mean to you as a Red Sox fan, knowing that Chris Sale, he had promise? Obviously the injury bug came and it nipped him pretty hard, but then he's rebounded. He is poised to have yet another successful year in an Atlanta Braves uniform. The people obviously say, is the injury coming? But he said it this year, and he said it last year as well. This is the healthiest and most complete he has felt since 2019 and before. What is your thoughts on him? Obviously I know a lot of Red Sox fans wish he was still there, but what can you say about him, and what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, he rehabbed with us. He was, fantastic. He had never, I don't think he played the minors, or it was like just a couple games. So he rode the bus with the guys. And I mean, he was a really good teammate when he was rehabbing with the Wo-Sox. He's just an arm that you can't find. So, I mean, I would have been fine even with him being injured if he gave you 20 starts. I think it's worth it. I think they had the club, that, so what, he's worth, you can't find guys like that. And I don't know. I thought maybe there was more to the story, because I didn't feel like they still got enough back, and they did this quick. So I don't know, as soon as Breslow came in, a lot of, they got rid of guys that the last regimes, but who knows? I know there's no issues with him as a teammate or front office. Everyone seems to like him, but I think arms like that, I don't think the White Sox got, I don't think that their trade made any sense with the Red Sox for, and I look at it in this way, and everyone tells me, well, when you stink like they do, you might as well, I go, but you can't, in this situation, you had a controllable young guy going forward. You obviously, if you're the White Sox, you feel that you're going to build something, right? You had an ace. You never get rid of a guy like that. I can tell you this, and we talk to our manager every game. I mean, I think in the last 2 years, I have seen 6 or 7 guys that we thought could start in the big leagues in AAA. That's it. There's not many. And the White Sox not only had one, they had one that could be super special. And he had a special year last year. I don't care who you traded. I'm keeping that young pitcher, because guys like Sale and Crochet, you can't find these guys. I mean, look around. Everyone wants them. They're not around.
And like I said, I can sentiment with probably almost every Atlanta Brave, if not every Atlanta Brave fan. We wish we had gotten Garrett Crochet.
Yeah,
obviously he's a fantastic arm. I mean, the likes of, if we had Garrett Crochet and Chris Sale, Spencer Strider, and then Ronaldo Lopez, all the arms that we could. That obviously it's neck and neck year by year. That Atlanta is always either the starting out the preseason in baseball, preseason favorite to have the best odds to win the World Series, or it's the Dodgers. It's those two as of late. So, this year is no exception. Atlanta has the second best odds behind the LA Dodgers to win the World Series again. So it would have been neat to have an additional arm like Garrett Crochet. So I want to ask you about you guys' season. I looked at y'all's schedule. I don't see you guys playing Gwinnett this year. Is there any? I know you guys do play Durham. I see that quite a bit in Jacksonville. Is there a reason why y'all are not playing Gwinnett this year?
Yeah, Major League Baseball took over. So believe it or not, at one time the minor leagues were run by a separate organization. They had a league office in Florida. It was just the minor league office where they had a president and so that they actually had a working agreement with MLB and it expired, and they decided they did not want to go forward with that relationship, and they wanted to take over a lot of things, which there's probably a lot more positive for them taking it over. They didn't like the schedule in the minor leagues. They thought, and they never really stepped in, but they didn't like what teams are doing with the schedule. Like, I remember being in Portland, we would play like a 7-game trip and then we'd be home for 3 and then we'd go back on the bus for 10 hours. So no more of that. The six-game series was their thing. They want we play most of teams that are in our division because of travel, because in AAA, all those, I'm looking at the schedule right now, like St. Paul, Iowa, Durham, Jacksonville, those are all flights, and those are costly in the minors, so, and just proximity of getting guys to the big leagues, because that's really what we're about, AAA, we're kind of a taxi squad. We actually, like, when we're at home, we play at 4:00 because the Red Sox usually play at 4. So in case they have something that happens, we can get a guy there in time. I think we're playing Gwinnett next year. It's rotating, but it's the save time. But these 6-game series in the minors I love it. It's great because you get to see one team for 6 days, and you get to see the first pitching matchup usually, on that Tuesday and then Sunday. So, and you get a whole week of one team. So I really enjoy it.
Like I was telling you, we have a good friend of ours, Dan Scott, the voice of Greenville Drive. I absolutely do enjoy the 6-game series because they do it too.
Yeah.
We see, my wife and I, we go regularly when they're playing the Bowling Green Hot Rods, the Tampa Bay Rays single A affiliate. We absolutely enjoy because, it's just something about minor league sports in general. I think it's where they play harder and they play more for the love of the game because they know they're not making, oodles upon oodles of dollars. But, what is the feeling around town? Baseball's here, and I'm trying to remember a time when people used to be like, they would line up out the door to see baseball. I don't see it as much anymore. I haven't been to a Braves game since before it was SunTrust Park. Now it's Truist Park. So I know that was pretty exciting on opening day for when Atlanta moved up to the new stadium. But when you come to a game, you go to a Red Sox, Worcester Red Sox game, what is the environment like there? Because here's an example. Fluor Field, they have an entire street that's closed, and it's all for like kid events, vendors, whatnots. And then you have obviously the entrance to Fluor Field to go watch the Greenville Drive play. Atlanta has the Battery, and it's just experiences all around. What is it like there on a game day experience?
It's phenomenal. We have a whole street that's closed. What our owners did, so Worcester was a pretty bad city at one point. I mean, when I grew up here, you didn't go there. They've done a lot of work, and we're a big part of that too. We're right in the heart of the Commonwealth, as they call it. So our ownership really took that heart theme, and there's hearts everywhere in the ballpark. We even have heart-shaped lights in the outfield.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We have a taste of Worcester. So we have restaurants that come in. You can walk around the whole ballpark. We have a kids area. There's always something going on, but all of our food is local. So we have a main concession stand, but then a lot of food is like our pizzas from this company called Wonder Bar, which is in downtown Worcester. So we outsource a lot of our food, but we always have so many different. So if we do like I'm trying to think of a night, like we do like this night where we're called the Huepas. It's diversity. So we change our name to a Spanish name, the Huepas, and we'll have like the national anthem from Cuba. We'll have different layers of everything. Our store is unbelievable. I mean, and we're jamming them. I mean, we get, let's see, our attendance last year was about 7,000, and we've had 9,700 on many occasions. So every day is different. They actually did an event today. If you bought 4 tickets, you got a Roman Anthony bobblehead at the ballpark, which I've never heard of a team doing an off-season ticket event and giving away a bobblehead. But it was crazy. It was packed there today. And we also do events at the stadium now because we have a club upstairs. There's events all year round.
It sounds like they're definitely and that's why I say fan friendly. Minor leagues is really fan friendly. It absolutely is. So my daughters have a huge love for all the mascots. They'll be happy to tell you there's Reedy, and they will holler as loud as humanly possible for a little 7, 5, and 4-year-olds that there's Reedy there. And I look at y'all's mascots and I see that y'all have quite the array of mascots. Can you kind of give a little detail about all the mascots?
Yeah, I'm gonna have. So we got Woofster, Smiley Ball, Clara Barton, and Roberto the Rocket. So Roberto the Rocket is for our Spanish name when we play as the Los Huepas de Worcester, Huepa. And then Woofster is just a dog. So that smiley, that yellow smiley face was invented in Worcester.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there. And then
I thought
Clara
Forrest
Barton
Gump did that.
Yeah, I think the guy looks like Forrest Gump. And then Clara Barton was the Red Cross founder. She's from North Oxford, Mass. So that mascot's a drop of blood. That might have been like a stretch, but they're going to release one every year. I don't know when they're going to stop, but they're going to unveil. We also have a different song every year. We get a song. So like last year it was called Wo-Sox 24, and it's just a song about baseball. There'll be Wo-Sox 25, and they write the lyrics and they send it out to LA, and they get it professionally produced, and then you get it in your head, and by June we know the words to it and we're sick of it. But yeah, it's
well, that's familiar.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the stuff that we do there, like they bought a duck boat from the Red Sox and turned it into a beer stand in left center field.
That's awesome.
I mean, they do things like that. I mean, it's really cool. I'll send you guys some photos.
Very fan friendly there. Like, I mean, I loved hearing this because it really does. It sounds like the entire organization is fans first, players second, and I commend that because there are a lot of organizations who care about the money aspect. Look, money makes the world run. We know that. But so I'm actually sitting here watching the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I didn't know this, but Tampa Bay has the highest winning percentage, but for any professional team they just finished their 2,500 game, and they have I think they won like a 1,200 out of those 2,500 games, which is the highest winning percentage of any professional organization. Well, I've been to the Amalie Arena, and it's amazing because they are so fan friendly. They sell out. And then I see the same thing with the Boston Bruins. My good family friend Danielle and her husband. I've known Danielle since she was in 8th grade with me, and they have gone to many Boston Bruins games, and they too have said that it's a very fan friendly environment. And Brian, Matt and mine's friend, has also said it's just something about Boston. And I jokingly tell people, and so we actually have a short that we put out about Philadelphia fans. Philadelphia fans are some of the nastiest fans. Just bottom that, but they call themselves the city of brotherly love. I think they need to reverse the roles and give it to Boston, because Boston, their fan base, I mean, everything about it, they really are like, they will accept you no matter what. And I absolutely commend the entire state of Massachusetts, the city of Boston for that. And it's nice that you get the opportunity to experience that every day.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here. My first 23 years, I lived in Massachusetts, and then I moved away for my career. And then I'm lucky I'm back. I know I'm very fortunate. There's only a couple of New England baseball teams professionally that I could work for. And I've worked for, I've done some stuff for the Red Sox. So I worked in Portland, Maine for 15 years. And then there's us. So there's 3 teams, and I've been able to be part of that. I mean, the odds are not in my favor. So as you get older too, I've been able to reflect, and, I've had a pretty good run, like I know I'm not in the big leagues every day. I've done stuff there, but like just to do it professionally and things it's opened up a lot of doors for things, but, yeah, it's very unique here. Bruins fans are very loyal. I mean, that's a whole different fan base. Red Sox fans are very neurotic. I think Patriots fans have been very unrealistic. I don't know what they thought was going to happen after all of this. Like, you're just going to bridge and win. If you look at the league, it's never happened. Celtics fans are very forgiving. Like, they don't, like, nobody's panicking. Like, they can lose any game right now. And I'm kind of bought into that too, because they did this last year where they really do not, their games, they just do not show up. Like, it's incredible. They lost to Dallas a few weeks ago, and after that trade, I can tell in the first few minutes, but that's what that league has done now, is to load management. I still think the Red Sox are number one. People tell me that's the Patriots, but I think it's always going to be the Sox. I don't think anyone, when they're winning, it's different here.
Go ahead, Shane.
Oh yeah, well, as we were mentioning, family fun, kind of events and stuff, and how the minor leagues do it. Just wondering, being up there in Mass and everything else, have you ever had the chance to cover any of the Cape Cod League? Because I know there's actually a place down in Florence. They have a woodback league for a lot of the the upper prospects and some of the college players. And I mean, me and my dad were even down there when I was, I think, going 15 years old. We were on the way down there. He got pulled over in a little speed trap town. And the cop even said, how old is he? Because they have this beer garden down here that's so great, So, man, and with the family. So, just kind of off of curiosity, being a ball player, man, have you ever had the chance to cover the Cape Cod League? And, how was it? If you did?
I haven't. Yeah, and I'm kicking myself because every year since I've been home, I actually moved back here during the pandemic, believe it or not. But I will definitely make that a 25 thing to do. I have to. It's the alumni is insane. We get, over the years, we get these game notes every game. And when you look at the bio, all these guys all played there. I mean, the alumni that they have and it's still all volunteer. It's still nonprofit, still hosts families, and it still works. I mean, it's never going to, despite all the technology that influences businesses, the Cape League, I don't think is ever going to have to worry about it. It might even get better. Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, Mike, perhaps you can explain it a little better. Obviously the small markets, it just hits differently. When I lived in Duluth, Georgia. That's actually the area I met when I was living in Georgia. That's how I met Matt, was in Duluth. They had back then it was called the Gwinnett Braves. Now they're called the Gwinnett Stripers.
Yep.
That Coolray Field, it sells out almost every game. You yourself even made that you posted about USA Today's poll for best minor league parks, and I saw the results were that y'all's Inn was actually ranked pretty high on that.
Yeah.
What is it, in your opinion? What is it about minor league or small markets that just that just touch differently with resonate better with the fans.
It's exactly what you just said at the end. You know, I went through this a lot in Portland. Like we would play that first couple of weeks in Portland, Maine. You know, our fans there are, I mean, they do really well. I mean, we drew well, and then we go on the road, and the guys would say to me, "Man, you know, it just the parks are dead." I just think I've always said it's very tough to duplicate, you know, what works here in New York, in Philly, Chicago, and even LA to some degree. When you expand, you know, it's hard. And there's this, you know, why doesn't it work in Florida or Pittsburgh the way it does here? I mean, Pittsburgh's a Steeler and Penguins. You can't change that. So you have to get creative, you know, and I think Major League Baseball has done a good job of that. You know, a lot of us, I think now are working in the major leagues, especially in the front office. And Major League Baseball does a lot of things that were invented in the minors, you know, bobbleheads, fireworks, all those giveaways. You know, when I grew up going to games at Fenway, I mean, it was just baseball. I mean, that Yawkey Way was nothing. Like that whole experience now, you know, that's what these new owners, you know, building the seats on top of the wall, the mascot, but they've made it a show because they realized you don't want people coming based on wins and losses because it's not good for your business. You know, Baltimore went through that when they tanked. No one went to games, and they were drawn like 6,000-7,000. So I think teams have really they're trying to do as much as they can, but I don't think you can ever duplicate what's here in another market. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I mean, I don't see Pittsburgh like ever not being a Steeler country. I just can't. They're Steelers first, and I think that, you know, it's same here with the Red Sox.
Yeah, well, and I mean, even you go as far as look at it in the major leagues, the Savannah Bananas, they just sold out Marlins Stadium 2 nights in a row, and they haven't had a sellout since I don't know how long ago.
Yeah.
I think they haven't had a sellout in general since they've been in their new park, Lone Depot Park. I can't even recall a sell. You know, and you mentioned people say that, you know, ballparks are dead, and we saw a lot of issues happen just as of late. You know, the Oakland Athletics, they're the prime example. I mean, I can remember watching the Oakland A's and thinking, gosh, they're a pretty passionate fan base.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would say in the last 5 to 7 years, they've really hit the toilet bowl. And what was the epitome of it was a couple of years ago. I remember I turned on the game. It was the Braves and the Athletics. They were playing each other. It was a late night game. And I remember the commentator said it's so quiet here that you could hear a pin drop. And there was like, they listed it as officially 2,500 fans at the Oakland Coliseum. But, you know, Jeff Francoeur and Brandon Gaudin, all of them said you'd be lucky to see 500 people. And that's a real harsh reality. And then we saw again last year with you mentioned a moment ago with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, there was one game. So I didn't know if it was real. I had to ask a couple people if it was real because I know quite a few people who are Chicago White Sox season ticket holders. That some of them have said that they don't really enjoy it, but they do it just because their family has been season ticket holders since they were kids and so on. And there was one game that there was like I think it was like, what was it, 180 people at a White Sox game.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know, you know, Chicago is different. It's a different environment in general, like weather and timing and all that stuff, because you need to deal with Central Time and stuff. But have you personally ever gone to a game where there's more pigeons than there are fans, kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely in the minors. Yeah, I've been to April and AA, Binghamton, New York, places in Connecticut. Yeah, I mean it's tough for fans. But again, you know, with the White Sox, and I lived in Illinois for a couple of years doing minor league baseball there. The Cubs fans don't, you know, notoriously did not care how the team did. They were able to sell out, and it was just like it was a giant party. But White Sox fans are real baseball. That's what they'll tell you. You know, they're really into the game, and that's good and bad for your business. But you saw with them not being good that it just wasn't supported. Oakland, I thought when they hit the pandemic, it never recovered. But just the way that they do business, I think it can tune fans out. You need to have stars. The Red Sox have really suffered that here. They've decided to, do things a little differently financially the last few years. And then, this year they bring in Bregman and Chapman and Crochet. If you think of those great, when I go back to those great A's teams, I mean, they had Canseco, McGuire, you had stars, Ricky Henderson. You have to, like, your fan base is a very small percentage is diehards. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big. Like, people think it's very small. You have to have something to attract people to the games. And whether it was fair or not that Oakland lost the team, I mean, no one's going. So, hopefully it works in Vegas, and hopefully they change. But I'm all kind of off subject too. I mean, there is that thing that that's out there. The teams are tanking, for like what Baltimore did. I don't know if that's good for the game. It has worked for them, but man, they were pretty bad for 3 years. I don't know if I'd want to watch, a team lose 110 games 4 years in a row, but Buster Olney, I remember he said that this was happening, and I was like shocked that baseball teams would tank, but it looks like the Astros started it. They did it years ago, and everyone's kind of copied that, and it's actually been working. Hopefully it will work for the A's.
Oh yeah, well that's how the Braves. That's how the Braves kind of
I was just about to say that.
They built it through prospects, and as you mentioned, kind of the fans of Boston weren't on that train, and now kind of they are. Especially being there in Washington, where you get to see all of them coming in. You kind of get that, and it's great to see the team builders prospects. Oakland is infamous and will forever be infamous for building up great prospects, but never being able to dole out the cash in the majors to keep. So I mean, you look, Braves got gifted Tim Hudson. Sort of towards the end of his prime.
Matt Olson's also coming from Oakland, and obviously, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. He's the catcher.
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, Sean Murphy. He just, he unfortunately he's being dealt again with the injury bug. This time it's only for up to 5 weeks, is what they're saying. But the question comes about is where can they find the solid homegrown talent? And so there is a player on Oakland that I have been like headstrong on for the last going on. This would be the 3rd year. I have wished, and I just saw he signed an extension with the Athletics. Brett Roker, dude is phenomenal. He's definitely going to be an up and coming great left fielder. He is going to be a star in this league, and Shane kind of hinted at it that Atlanta and Oakland, they're very good at like, let's trade, crap for good, basically. And Oakland, for whatever reason, has taken the crap players, and and I believe there's only one player.
Boston and Chicago, right now.
Yeah. Well, and like with Oakland and Atlanta, there's only, I think, one player still that is still even on a roster for either of the team for the Oakland Athletics during the transitions. I believe it's Pache is the only one that I know that's still on a roster. I believe he's on the Phillies roster. So I wanted to ask you this real quick, Mike. You kind of hinted at a word, expansion. We've heard the term expansion for, gosh, I mean, as long as I can remember, the term expansion is being mentioned. The last expansion team, I believe, was the Nationals when they left Montreal and came to DC. But Buster Olney, he said it last year that there's 2 cities that they're really honing in on. One of them is Charlotte, and the other one is Nashville. And he said Nashville will definitely be the first to grab that expansion. And I've heard a lot more rumblings as of late that MLB is trying to increase, the magic number for a lot of leagues was 32. Now it's like 36 and whatnot. And we see rapid expansion going on in the WNBA. I know Boston is being mentioned for a possible WNBA expansion. I know that we just mentioned this last episode that the Cleveland Rockers are coming back, and a team that's very familiar down here is the Charlotte Sting. There's a potential they're coming back too. So the term expansion in Major League Baseball, I feel it should just go ahead and let's just get it done and expand. But what are your thoughts on? I believe the team in Nashville is called the Nashville Sounders. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a nice ballpark too.
So do you think they would make the jump, or would they just have a brand new team and they would move the Sounds somewhere else?
I don't know. The ballpark, I don't know if that ballpark could be built up to a big leagues, because that would be the smart thing to do. Probably not. I don't know what that would do for them. If the ballpark was in real close, if they were going to put it within like 5 or 10 miles, they wouldn't be able to probably be around anymore. Because there used to be territorial rules, but I don't know with Major League Baseball, but it would hurt their business unless they could do the schedule where they were on the road and they were, I don't know. But yeah, it would be, I don't know what would happen, because Charlotte and Nashville both have real nice AAA stadiums. Charlotte might be the best in all of the minors from what I've heard. So that might be able to be a big league stadium. I know Buffalo was built for that. They were hoping. They built that stadium originally with 25,000, but they've taken all those seats out. And then now during the pandemic, the Blue Jays had to play there. So it's kind of big league ready. I would think they would try to occupy what's already there. I mean, to build another stadium in Nashville or Charlotte, big league stadium. I mean, our stadium was 160 million. Think about what a big league stadium is. AAA stadium 160. You're looking 400 or 500 million. I don't know.
Minimum,
yeah.
Charlotte's lucky enough; they have the room in the outfield, I think, to build up to a capacity standpoint.
Yeah.
And being right downtown now with the newer stadium that they did build, you're not talking about a whole lot of renovations to the existing structure.
Yeah.
You're talking about just, kind of building some bleachers in the outfield, which are, the cheap seats, but everybody loves the cheap seats, when it comes to baseball, because that's where you hear the best banter and commentary from the true fans.
Yeah. And, like you said, it's downtown. That's where all major league cities now want to be downtown. Like that's what the Royals are really complaining about, because the Royals and Chiefs are not near where everything is. I think it gets political, like, because you want the money to go into the city, and people are not spending money in the city. So, it's a great point about Charlotte. I would think that they could do enough to that place. If you look at it, it looks like a big league stadium already, but it'd be cool. I love the schedule now in the big leagues. I like that everybody plays everybody. Out of all my friends, I'm like the only one that's for that. I like it. I mean, I like that you get to see Ohtani's coming to Fenway this year, and Mookie. I mean, that's fun.
That's going to be an interesting, how people are going to the reception he's going to get coming back to Fenway. I know. So at the Drive, they still have a lot of the merchandise that has Mookie Betts on, on everything. So I know he is still a very much fan favorite in Boston. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Do you personally think there will be an MLB expansion city, one, or at least, if not two, at least one in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yes, because the money that Major League Baseball gets from that. I think those teams have to pay the fee is insane, and it will even out their schedule. I think they want the 16 versus 16 instead of the 15 versus 15. So I think it's definitely, I think this commissioner, say what you want. He's very progressive in a lot of the rule changes we've seen in the minors before the big leagues, and we've all liked them. And I told everyone with the clock, I'm like, you guys are going to love it when it comes to Major League Baseball, because the games are fast. I mean, I thought the game became unwatchable a few years ago, too long, and they've made changes, and I commend him for that. There's things about his personality people don't like. But you know what? As a leader, I think he's made some good changes. But Brandon and Matt and Shane, there's too much money. You guys know. Those, I think you pay like $800 million to be a team, something nuts, and they're going to take that in a heartbeat.
You know, one last question that I have, you know, I'm so excited for the future, obviously, of what's going to happen with Major League Baseball and everything. But you know, he made the story came out officially today on ESPN. Pete Rose, he came out and he said, "I'll probably go into the Hall of Fame after I die." Well, he has unfortunately passed away, and I did see a story a few days ago that Rob Manfred is actually considering reinstating Pete Rose and officially getting him inducted into the Hall of Fame. Do you think we will see Pete Rose finally get his just desserts and get into the Hall? And then also, if he gets it, what about a player like Shoeless Joe Jackson, who did phenomenal things? Obviously, the Black Sox scandal that happened with him puts a real big like tainting on things. But what if Pete Rose gets in? Do you think Shoeless Joe Jackson gets in?
I would hope so. I would think so. You know, I think that these will create good promotions for them. You know, the Reds would be able to be able to do a lot of Hall of Fame bobbleheads of Pete Rose. You know, a lot of cool promotions come out of it. So, but you know, I think at the time when they did ban Pete Rose, not one. I mean, I'm sure people did bet, but no one got caught after him. You know, when they laid the law, I think about that. All these years, we haven't had one person get caught. So, you know, I think he can't get in as a manager, but getting in as a player, I'm fine with it. You know, it's just one of those things that I think is inevitable that he'll be in, and I think Shoeless Joe should be too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it would be nice to, you know, I know they instilled a lot of the Negro League stats officially into the Hall of the world of all the statistical records for Major League Baseball, which it rightfully should. It's nice to acknowledge, you know, because not only did baseball have a significant following before, you know, with the Negro League, but also with the regular league as well. And I love that we're finally giving every player what they actually deserve is a chance, because they help make history possible with baseball. I mean, you had players like Jackie Robinson, you had players from all over who have made their impact in some form or another that's made Team A or Team B better because they played a role in the development of it. And Pete Rose, I don't think we'll ever see a player of his caliber again. And, you know, same thing with Ricky Henderson. I don't see if we will ever see another Ricky Henderson type player. Now, you know, obviously people will say that Ronald Acuna Jr. could eclipse Ricky Henderson's stolen base record. I mean, that's yet to be seen. He's coming off yet another horrific ACL tear, you know, and I have suffered ACL tear, and even after one, you're not going to come back as strong as you once when he did. But now he's had two. What is the future going to hold for him? We don't know yet. So, you know, I agree. I think Shoeless Joe Jackson, what he did for the game, he revolutionized the game for his time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Pete Rose. We're never going to see players like that, you know, and, you know, with like Babe Ruth is an example, you know, we're never going to see a player of his caliber ever again. And rightfully so, people who have made such a huge impact like they did in the past, they should get their fair share and get the chance to be recognized as one of the greats.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Major League Baseball has done a great job. I mean, I really like Bob Kendrick, who's the president of the Negro League Hall of Fame. He's got some great stories. You know, Josh Gibson might have been one of the best catchers to ever play. You know, if he had a chance to play in the big league. Satchel Paige. They're some of the stories, they don't seem like they were real, that these guys really played, because the stories are so, because they were doing things before people were doing them. But yeah, what Jackie went through, you know, it's fantastic. I'm glad that they've made those changes. And I play MLB The Show. They have a whole Negro Leagues storylines that they incorporated last year that that is really cool. They teach you about the players, which I thought was phenomenal. So yeah, change is good. But it's weird. I talk to my nieces about stuff like this, and they can't comprehend why they weren't allowed to play. They're 13 and 14, and it's a hard conversation to try to have with them, but they don't understand it because they're growing up in a different world now, where they have people of all different shapes and sizes in their classes. So for them, it's normal. And I just say that's good, But yeah, Major League Baseball has done some really good things, and hopefully it just continues to get better.
Absolutely. His name is Mike Antonellis. Mike, would you please let everybody know where they can hear you this season, where they can find you on social media? Because I know we have a lot of people who would love to become become fans of the Wo-Sox.
Yeah, I have a real original X handle. It's at the Radio Mike. And if you go on there, I have all my links. I have Linktree, so you get to everything. If you just go to wosox.com, you can find all our broadcasting there. We actually do every game on TV as well. So for every game at home, we have 4 broadcasters. We have 2 in the radio booth and 2 in the TV booth and a sideline reporter. It's we're on the station. The Red Sox are on Nesson, but it's the secondary one called Nesson Plus. So, but it's still pretty cool. They gave us all the graphics, and it's like a big league broadcast. So, except for the announcers.
And what is your Twitter handle again?
It's at the Radio Mike. I could type it in, right?
Oh, I see you. Very good. I found you. Awesome. Well,
Yep.
Guys, we absolutely had a great time having Mike on. Shout out to the Wo-Sox. Shout out to the Red Sox organization from single high A all the way up to the bigs. It's guys. Opening day is March 28th. It's knocking on that door. I can't tell you how excited I am, but you can kind of hear it in my voice. I'm ready for baseball to get going. My daughters absolutely love going to Greenville Drive games. We're actually going to try and go to us as the Sportz Nutz are trying to go to, because the Hub City Spartanburgers, the former Down Eastwood Ducks, are now here up in Spartanburg. So we're going to try and go to a couple of those games. So stay tuned for that one. But Mike, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I had a blast. We were definitely going to have you on again. And I'm telling you, man, you just gained some more fans for the Wo-Sox.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Good to meet you.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
Guys, that was such a great experience. Like, just think about it for a second. It really is. Single A ball, double A ball, triple A ball, grapefruit league and cactus league and whatever else there is. It hits differently with every fan. Addison, she obviously, guys, she plays softball. She's a big baseball fan. I'm beyond excited that she has taken a liking to the sports world, but I'm kind of doing what Jessica did to me when I was 5 years old, which was introduce my kids early to sports, and baseball was the first one. What does it mean to you? I'm gonna start with you, Matt. What does it mean to you that the younger generation is going to be able to see the possibilities that Major League Baseball could grow at an exponential rate?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that we have to kind of see to believe first. I think that'll be good for the younger generation, man. I think it's on baseball, though. I think the ball is in baseball's court. How is baseball going to market themselves to the kids? What is baseball going to do, to keep kids interested? Because you have the NFL and you have the NBA with their shenanigans. What's baseball going to do to attract these kids nowadays? The crazy thing about these kids nowadays, man, what's different from us is these kids, their attention spans are very short. Attention spans are very short. They last for a viral moment. They have viral attention spans. That's what I like to call it, viral attention spans. I mean, honestly, let's just use the NBA, or let's use baseball for an example. Somebody get hit. Let's say Aaron Judge. Let's just say Aaron Judge hits 10 home runs in a game. Like,
oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
Never seen anything like it. 10 home runs in a game, the biggest thing probably that ever happened in baseball, or one of the biggest things, man. honestly, that'll last for 2 days, and then everybody will forget about
Mum's
it.
the word, yep.
Yeah, everybody will forget about it, and then it'll go on. Whereas 20 years ago, before social media came, if that would have happened, that would have been talked about for the rest of the year. So
Well, just look at this way. You just in the other. 1998 was a very long time ago, and we're still talking about the home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. So you're right. Now, put into perspective what you just said, Matt. Could you imagine what it would have been like today if a Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa home run battle took place? Would it be talked about, 20, almost 30 years later, or would it be like one season and done kind of thing,
it'll be a one season and done kind of thing, man. I mean, that's what I think about it. I mean, look at that year. Look at the year that I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. Anyways, you look at the year. A lot of baseball players have great years, but it kind of gets swept under the rug nowadays, man. And that's just how it is now. That's how it is. That's how it is in all sports, man. I mean, honestly, look at this. The other day, Steph Curry hit 12 threes. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Exactly. He literally hit 12 threes about 3-4 days ago. Hit 12 threes. 12 threes, man.
That's
and you don't care about it. You really don't care about it. Who else? Somebody scored 56 points. I forgot who. I mean, that's just how it is now, man. It's just everything is just for the here and now, and then it's in the past.
It's gone. It lost in the past. What do you think?
In just a few days.
Do you think that this is good for the game, the sports world in general, that the younger generations have the potential to see things like Major League Baseball? Could be, there could be an expansion city in Nashville, in Charlotte, Orlando, and that's just to name a few places. I mean, heck, I've even seen bids for Vancouver. There is a strong bid that's been going in Vancouver for a team to be called the Vancouver Timberlakes, as they're, timberwood, like the trees there. Could you imagine, like, say for instance, Addison in like by the time Addison's 18 years old, we could see another, 5 or 6 Major League Baseball teams. Like how amazing would that be for this generation and for the game of sport in general?
Oh man, it'd be great. Sorry for the distraction behind me. She's getting a little antsy right now, but I think that it's great to see.
Is it night?
Night. Oh.
Packs of tricks.
Sorry. I had everybody tell everybody night. So.
Night.
But I think that as we've seen, kind of the WNBA is kind of profited off of the TikTok social media age and bringing back kind of popularity. I think we kind of see that some in the MLB now, just because it was kind of lost there for a while with the MLB. Kind of since the mid 2000s or so with Barry Bonds' run with the home runs and stuff. People have kind of lost interest in the sport in general. I think the changes, as Mike mentioned earlier, that they see earlier are helping the game, and I believe bringing more attention back to the game. Expansion cities, social media, and these expansion cities that we're talking about, especially you think about Nashville and just the social media presence because of the celebrities and everything else that's around there, that all the time, not just some of the time, all the time, just kind of like we see in Vegas, how their sports teams have kind of taken off and done things that other expansion teams really haven't been able to do, as far as the crowd size and the things that they can get the fans in there, to see these games and stuff. I think that it's kind of a double-edged sword, as you say. It kind of you lose some of the pastime and stuff about it. 20, 30 years down the road, we'll still be talking about it like we talk about, Greg Maddux, out through his career. he had
The
like
86 pitch
600
game, complete game that he threw. Yeah.
had like 600 something walks, yet almost 400 of them were intentional,
Yeah.
kind of deal. So I mean, you know, I think that's more so where we're going to see it, kind of like the lost facts that we see, you know, that we in our generation kind of go off of, like with the Tony Gwynn and the Greg Maddux stats that we always see. You know, Barry Bonds, you know, you take away his intentional walks, he's still the leader in walks,
Yep.
kind of deal. So I think that we'll see more and more like that. Because of the social media age, and it won't be, you know, such a big thing like we saw in '98. But yet again, remember in '98, we also had, you know, baseball's most popular player, the kid. You know, he was on the string for 40 plus home runs, and you know, so up until July, he was kind of keeping up with the race. So you know that's one of the things that kind of boosted the race too, that a lot of people don't realize, because we got so encapsulated with this guy hit a home run this night. This guy hit two.
How many did Mark McGuire hit tonight? How many did Sammy? I remember it was like a competition on ESPN Sports Center.
Crazy.
Constantly, it was like a home run count. Mark McGuire hit 3 home runs today. How many is Sammy going to do? Sammy's going to do X, Y, Z tonight. And I remember that like it was just yesterday. And you're right. Social media nowadays, both of y'all hit it and said that social media nowadays kind of, you know, dictates what can and what cannot go viral. And like, I mean, I love baseball. I absolutely do. You know, there's just something about going to a ballpark, having a couple cold ones and a hot dog, and being next to your buddies watching an enjoyable game. It's just something about it. But you know, you, Matt, Shane, our buddy Hank has even hinted at it and said that baseball has had a significant decline in the game. And you know, I wish I had remembered to ask Mike this question. The ABS system is coming into the pros this year. And for those who don't know, ABS is automatic balls and strikes. The players, if they disagree with the call that the umpire did, they can tap their head and get a review to determine if it's really a ball or if it's really a strike. And that's been a huge success in the minors for several years now. You know, I'm eager to see what transpires this season. Obviously, you know, we're about to see a professional team play in a minor league park for the next couple of years while they build a brand new state-of-the-art facility in downtown Las Vegas. You know, they're playing in Sacramento, and the Athletics have even come out and said they're not going to have the term Oakland tied to them. They're not going to have the name Sacramento tied to them. It's just going to be called the Athletics. They're going to be called the Athletic Baseball Club is what they would be known as. So we're about to see things in a whole new perspective. And I'm excited to see what it transpires. I know, Shane, you're excited to see what happens. Matt, I know you're not as big of a baseball fan, but I know you understand the game and you love it just because it's something different than other sports. But, you know, now, will we see like phenomenal ratings? Who knows? It's yet to be determined. So we'll see. And I'm excited for it. You know, but guys, look, we've had such a enjoyable episode. I mean, I got to give a shout out to everybody that's watched tonight. Look, guys, we topped out at 60 views live. That was phenomenal. I loved it. I absolutely enjoyed having somebody like Mike Antonellis on the show, you know, because the reason why we do this and we have minor league and little small entities come on as well as big is because it gives the little voices a chance to be heard. And it's exciting to let them be heard. You know, our good friend Greg Matt, you remember he is the owner of the Carolina Disco Turkeys. We had him on.
Yep.
And their numbers significantly increased because we gave them their voice to be heard. And I love it. It means the world to us. We have fun doing this, getting to talk with you guys, getting to talk with our friends, just in general. That's what we call ourselves, the Sportz Nutz. We're nuts about sports. We love every bit of sport. So, guys, obviously, we have bent your ear for an hour and 20 minutes. It's been so much fun, and it really went by pretty quickly. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how fast it went by because we were really in tuned and really enjoying Mike's conversations. We were thoughtful and engaging, everything. I love it. And so obviously, let's give a little detour of what's going to happen on next. So Friday, guys, I want everybody to know we have a first here at the Sportz Nutz. We are going to have a Hall of Famer an NFL Hall of Famer. He won the Super Bowl for the Washington Redskins. He is in the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. He is good friends with a good friend of mine, Jamal Anderson, Mr. Dirty Bird himself, which Matt, I'm pretty sure, would know how to do that dance really well. And he is coming on. He'll be on this Friday. But now here's the kicker. We only have Gerald Riggs Sr. on the show for 20 minutes, from 7:30 to 7:50. So that means everybody get your popcorn ready and be locked in and get ready to interact with Gerald Riggs. We're talking to all you fans that are watching right now. Matt, myself, Shane, Hank, we're all going to be here. We're trying to see if we can get Dirty Fanatics United to tag on to that as well for that 20-minute period of time so they can interact with Gerald Riggs. Because it's a very big moment in the Sportz Nutz to have such a illustrious sports figure icon like Gerald Riggs on our show. So we have him coming on. And then the following week, we have a former arena football player. His name is Eric Gibson. He is also a high school coach. He's coming on to talk some sports with us. And then, guys, then literally the South Carolina Ravens gets going, and we're going to be broadcasting their games, streaming their games. It may be me and Shane travel down a couple of games, and it may be all four of us or at least three of us will get to travel down there to Florence and, participate in all the activities that the South Carolina Ravens have. So we cannot wait to get it going with you guys. We've had a lot of fun tonight. A lot of good things, unfortunately, have to come to an end, and we're going to come to an end tonight. I hope that you guys really enjoyed having Mike Antonellis on. Check him out again. Guys, his Twitter handle is @the-radio Mike. That's Mike. And it's kind of funny that the Mike, Radio Mike. He's really good. We had a lot of fun with him. You know what? Don't shake your head at me, Matt. So, Shane, what do you tell these lovely people?
Oh man, well, as always, man, I want everybody to go out there and just love one another. It's been a bit of a trying week here with me in my head personally, and I think I needed to get that message out tonight. Just go out and love one another. But hey, as always, it's peace, love, and bacon grease from this side.
That's right. Peace, love, and bacon grease. Look, guys, we're absolutely excited for Shane and his next adventure and his newly located, new location he's going to be moving to, but he will still be a part of us. He's not leaving. Just know that he is taking the next step in his journey. And we can't be more proud of him. We're excited for him. And and just so you guys know, Shane is moving to North Carolina, but where he's moving to is only like an hour and 25 minutes at most from here.
About an hour and 15.
Yeah, so it's not like he's traveling all the way to California. So I mean, he's still going to be here. He's still going to bring great content. He's still going to bring great interaction. He's just going to do it from a different state. Yeah. So that's okay with that. So our good friend Hank, which always he tells you guys. He loves you guys. He enjoys having you on there. He will be on here Friday, so you'll get to see all four of us here. But, Matt, what do you tell the lovely people?
Well, first of all, man, you want to give a big shout out to Mr. Shane Owen down there, man. Congratulations, man. May everything work out well in your favor. Man, and also to piggyback off of Shane, man, just want to everybody just keep the peace. Just keep the peace and keep it moving and be happy. Now, once you do that, you might partake in a bit of a beverage, maybe of the devil's nectar. But, if you do that, just, remember, guys, don't drink and drive. You don't want to, be driving down the middle of the road, inebriated, heavily inebriated, and you see the whoop whoop right behind you, as the flashing lights you see below me indicate. Once that happens, man, then, you'll get slammed on the roof of the car, handcuffed. You'll be read your Miranda rights. thrown in back of the police car. Those seats are very hard. You don't want to go back there. And then you'll get thrown in a cell, a holding cell nonetheless, with about maybe 20 people inside, being served peanut butter sandwiches, and the peanut butter comes from a packet.
This
It's like
is
a ketchup.
sounds like something from experience, ladies and gentlemen.
So with that being said, just to also remind you and let you know, inside that cell there's an open toilet and an open sink, and no toilet, and no toilet paper, and no toilet paper. So
it's fun for about 4 hours.
It's fun for about 4 minutes.
I said about a minute. No, I hate it.
So to avoid all that, just make sure you take the proper methods, Uber, a friend, a DD, just to avoid all that.
Call him. Just
don't call me. Don't call me. Anyways, don't get flagged.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, that does sound like Matt's had quite an experience with the fact that he was so detailed and talked to us about the peanut butter out of all substances. Oh, well, yeah, they serve you peanut butter and honey.
Last time I went, I had powdered eggs.
Oh man,
I can't remember what I had. I know I had peanut butter and honey, and then I had some knockoff tuna fish at one time that was nastier than nasty could be. There was a couple times I didn't eat, so yeah, we're not gonna delve into that one.
You sound like you've been there for weeks.
I was there for 8 days. You sound like you've been there for freaking years. Come on now.
I was there for 8 hours. That's enough for me.
Guys, we had so much fun with you all. Thank you to all those who participated in the comments tonight. Thank you for all those who watched us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. Matt probably will say TikTok, and of course our YouTube page, which, as you guys see on my name there, at the Sportz Nutz 176. Guys, we have gained 15 new subscribers in the last week and a half. Let's continue going. Our year-end goal is at least 240. We're at 168. Let's help us grow there. Tell your friends, hey, I found the newest sports talk show that there is. They have great people coming on. So we look forward to the next episode this Friday. Until then, guys, peace up. A-Town down. Why? It's the greatest sports city there is. Hey, guys, baseball's only a couple weeks away. Let's go Braves. Let's dominate, and let's show the Dodgers that we're the best team in the baseball. Until then, guys, we will see you again on Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Be here, be sharp, because you only have 20 minutes with your rigs. We'll talk to you then, and y'all take care and have a wonderful evening. Enjoy this lovely outro, and if you guys can, let us know what you think about it. Matt, he really did a good job creating this. So we will also have a couple more shorts coming out. Keep on the views growing with the shorts that we have produced, and we really appreciate you. Until then, good night.